I'm going to tell you how I became psychic and what it's like to really connect with the spirit. But full disclosure, if you watch this, your psychic abilities are probably going to wake up too. So it all started with this 2-year journey of me trying everything that I could to connect with the spirit world. I mean, I did everything. I traveled the world. I went to all of these spiritual retreats. I connected with my chakras. I did meditations. I even went to the Arthur Findlay College in the UK, which is like a world-renowned psychic and mediumship school. And so after this whole journey, I wasn't able to connect at all. I mean, there was some stuff that was happening for me, but nothing like what you hear about, right? I was not able to connect to the spirit and have a flowing conversation. And that's what I wanted. I needed to be able to communicate with the spirit in a way that's undeniable. And so the first real big insight that I had when it came to connecting with the spirit world was when I was in this mediumship circle, where you kind of practice read with other people. And so I got paired up with this gentleman and I was reading for him. And I'm supposed to go through all of this process, right? That's what they teach us, that you're supposed to go through this weird opening spiritual ritual, align your chakras, settle your energy down, do all this. But the problem was every time that I tried that, I would sense the spirit as I was doing it. And I wanted to follow the instructions. So I kind of waited, right? I waited until I got done with my process. But what happened is once I got done, I was like, okay, where are you? The spirit wasn't there, or I couldn't perceive them, or we weren't able to connect, but they were right there. And so I got so frustrated with this that day that I sat down, and when I went to go connect with the spirit that was with the gentleman I was reading for, I started to go through my process, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. If there's a spirit here, let's talk. And then boom. Immediately, the spirit was there. We were communicating. We were talking. And so what the spirit had told me is that he was the friend of the gentleman that I was reading for, and they had a falling out like 20 years ago in college, and they hadn't spoken since. And so the spirit came through because he had remorse. He was apologizing to his friend because he was saying that it was his fault that they had this falling out, and that he was such a good friend, and he wished he would have reconciled things, that it was completely senseless that they lost touch. And so the person I'm reading for asked me, well, yeah, that did happen. Can you describe what they looked like? And I said, okay. And so immediately I saw this spirit standing there that was wearing this like gothic attire. Okay. I mean, the leather pants, the vest, he even had a mohawk. He was wearing these Doc Marten boots. And so I described what I saw, and the guy was like shocked. All right. He's like, you just described my college buddy to the T. And he said, but I don't know if he's passed. I have not talked to him since we had that falling out. Can you ask him how he passed? And so I asked the spirit how he passed. And he says, well, I got into this car accident, but I didn't die from the accident. What happened is I hit this telephone pole and it fell on top of the car. And when I went to go get out of the car, I was electrocuted by the power line that was on the ground. And I said and I was like, wow, that was really specific. I surprised myself. I couldn't believe that something so specific had come through. And so the guy that I was reading for said, well, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. I can't really confirm if he's dead or alive, but I am still in touch with somebody that knew him. So let me ask, and next week I'll come in and tell you, what I found out. And so the next week came, and the guy, as soon as he saw me, had this huge smile, and he came up to me and he said, you're never going to believe this, but my friend did pass several years after we stopped talking, and he passed exactly how you said. He was electrocuted by a phone pole that fell on his car. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that came through without any kind of preparation, right? Without any meditation, without me having to align, balance, or clear any chakras, without any protection ritual, without visualizing any kind of light, without doing anything, with just showing up and saying, let's talk. I went right into it. And so what that experience taught me is that spirit communication really is simple. We don't need any of those things. We don't need to do any of that stuff. If we treat the spirit world exactly like a conversation we would have with anyone else, we can go right into it. And so Following this method of simplicity changed everything for me, because from that day forward, that's how I approached my connection with the spirit world. And since then, my connection has been undeniable. I can go right into it and have a flowing conversation anytime that I want with any spirit. And so that's what I do today, is I help other people do that as well. And so let me know, leave me a comment, let me know if this was helpful and if you are going to take this approach from now on.